Desert Diaries. Week 51. Hello, Arizona calling, and another week of feeling the temperature slowly creep up on us. Summer is really very much in sight now. In fact, we're kind of in the sweet spot at the moment where you can have all the doors and windows open all day and night and don't need the air conditioning on. Give us a couple of weeks, though. I'll be yelling at the girls to close the door. You'll let the heat in every 5 minutes. I'd also forgotten that it just doesn't cool down at night much anymore, especially once the warmer weather rolls in. In winter, it got blooming freezing at night, but today, for example, I looked at the weather at about 6:30 this morning and it said, right now 26 degrees, highs of 33, and then this evening, 28 degrees. There is still a cold spot each day. It's just before sunrise, in fact, about 5 a.m. Tomorrow morning, it's going to plummet to 20 degrees. Get your parka out, eh? Now, you might be able to hear I'm outside again this week. I've got on my bike and ridden up Ironwood Drive and Foothill Drive. And I'm currently sitting on the corner of Mojave Road and Foothill Drive North. Mummy Mountains just ahead of me. And it's just utterly mad round here. One of my favourite bits of Paradise Valley. It really is like you're in the middle of the desert. And yet there's a Starbucks about half a mile away. Thank you so much to Jane, who got in touch on Twitter at WalkerSam and asked for another al fresco episode. So here you go. I'll post some more pictures on Twitter and of course on Instagram too at Sam Walker Radio. But I'm currently sitting on that corner, as I said, on a rock. I can see, if I look up, it's a bit windy as you can hear. Few clouds in the sky, but glorious blue skies. In the distance, I can see the Superstition Mountains. There's a pair of red-tailed hawks actually circling not far over my head. Maybe the ones from the palm tree in our garden come to check me out, who knows? There's a couple of absolutely beautiful houses nearby and then Mummy Mountain looming up right in front of me. It just is so completely glorious. So, let's have a moment together, eh? Just to sit quietly and listen to the sounds of the Sonoran Desert. I didn't want to say anything, but as soon as I stopped talking, quite a big lizard just ran out from next to the rock where I'm sitting and ran across the road in front of me. Quite a chubby one. I do like a lizard. I don't know if it's because we're in lockdown and there's less road traffic and less air traffic, but I've noticed the bird song so much in the last couple of weeks. The variety, the volume, it's like nothing I've heard before. And at night too, there are just so many night singing species around here. You can just drift off to the sounds of owls and mockingbirds and nightjars. It's just wonderful. Thank you so much as well for all your pictures this week. I've started an album on the Facebook page of your photos of where you are listening to the podcast. It's so exciting to get them. The Canadian Rockies to Carrington and France to Folkestone. Please, please keep them coming. You can find me on Facebook. Just search for Sam Walker's Desert Diaries. I really love feeling like we're all connected during these times when connecting in person's just really hard. I did find out a bit of shocking news this week. I was watching the local TV channel and it was reporting the hotspots for coronavirus cases within the Greater Phoenix area. Number 2, right here in Paradise Valley. Now, I found this hugely surprising because homes in PV, well, as you've seen from the pictures I've posted, they're spaced out right. They're largely stuck on the side of mountains and in large sections of desert. It's not like downtown Phoenix around here because there it's like, I suppose, any other major city where you've got lots of cool warehouse apartments and people living in blocks of condos, generally much closer together. I lived in a street of mainly terrace houses in Manchester, but they don't really exist here, not in Phoenix anyway. So how are people in an area largely populated with older folk as well, who aren't even going out to work all day, getting infected? Then it occurred to me, it's ruddy golf. Remember I said how golf was such a major pastime in Phoenix and Scottsdale? Well, these golf courses are still pretty busy. In fact, just last week I was cycling past one with my daughter. We saw a group of about 20 retired people stood chatting in the car park. My daughter actually yelled out from her bike, "Haven't you heard of the coronavirus?" Their faces were a bit of a picture. I think being yelled at by a small British child probably wasn't what they were expecting whilst hanging out together. But come on. I'm sure you've seen the news of the anti-lockdown protests that have been growing in America too. And yep, there was one in Phoenix this week. Hordes of folk bellowing in the faces of healthcare workers who came out to try and stop them from blocking the entrances of hospitals with their protest. Those same healthcare workers then got lambasted by certain areas of the press. You don't need me to spell out which ones, of course, but lambasted for wasting time when they should be caring for people. The irony. The division here actually in America between left and right and Democrat and Republican, and also people who think that we should stay home and save lives, and those who see lockdown as nothing but an abuse of their constitutional rights. It's really extraordinary. There's a very vocal contingent of society here who view freedom, and I put that word in quotes, above everything. And I mean everything. I've seen so many monologues from news anchors saying things like, "We're in America, not China. You have the right to stay inside if you don't want to get sick, but you do not have the right to tell me to stay inside. I'm free." Goes without saying, of course, there are vast swathes of society that really do not feel that way, but it's a real nation of contrast for sure. Along with the pensioners at golf clubs and protesters in downtown Phoenix, another group of locals have been very much out and about this week. Our snake friends. Oh yeah. This week I saw a large gopher snake whilst out on a walk with Juno. And they're not venomous, so happy days. But I also saw 2 shed snake skins. One little teeny one and one really quite large one, a good metre long. Both fresh, both right on the pavement near our house. So clearly haven't been off a snake body for very long. Both very clearly rattlesnakes as well. As pointed out by 8-year-old Britta. Look! A triangular head! They're diamondbacks. Snakes alive. I'll see you in the desert.